what do you find is the benefit for having someone like yourself prior to surgery?
Well, what you do is your main focus is to help if there's any anxiety. And you were just describing there is anxiety because you're giving up control. And you basically don't know the outcome. You know, and you've got to place your whole life and your trust in other people. It's certainly not just one. It's certainly not just the surgeon. It goes from, you know, start to finish. So there's some tapping involved to help with that. There's some affirmations.
Which is the emotional freedom technique, right?
Exactly.
The tapping EFT.
Yes. So what that does is that empowers the patient, you know, to have a kind of a feeling of control of some over their outcome and their emotions and their feelings prior to it. So that's kind of the main focus of it. And then afterwards, it's healing touch, getting in there right almost immediately after they're out of recovery, and doing some magnetic clearing and some things to help with clear that medication and everything on out of their body, to allow their body to be able to heal as much as it can.
Is there a correlation with that coming into the level of, say, pain medicine that a patient might have? Is there less need for those things when someone like yourself is there?
Well, that is definitely the goal. I've only been involved in a couple so far, so it's hard for me to know, but I know the one that was a big one because it involved the heart. And the doctors and all were very pleased with the rate of recovery, and she felt sure that it had to do with the fact that she did have my service, you know, engage that type of service, not just me, but you know, that type of
My question is going back now to the Twilight Brigade and to the work there, is based on what you have come to understand. And this is a big question. What is your perception of death?
I don't have a real clear understanding. It's very much a mystery. But I don't really have a fear of it. And I think the reason is basically because my husband has gone on, my father has gone on, my mother has gone on, and I feel like I still have a relationship with them. I still have a knowing from them. I still have kind of their presence at times that I feel like are still with me. So I know whatever it is, it's okay. I just don't know what it is. You know, I don't pretend to really know or act like, oh, it's whatever. I don't know. I think it's a big mystery to us. It's supposed to be one. I think what it is just that I'm okay with the mystery.
So I hearken it to kind of being reborn into the spirit. So it's a different type of birth, you know, our death of physical body. And I think part of the answer that I look for in that is like, you know, does it feel, I mean, obviously it's the ending of something,
right? But
does it feel like an ending?
Right.
You know, do you have any?
I think it feels like an ending at the time it's ending. At that time, I think it feels like an ending. I think that's why people don't want to let go.
Right.
You know, because it very much feels like an ending. But I don't know. One way I've kind of seen it is I've noticed that a lot of times mainly with my elders, because that's the ones that I have the most experience with, but like music, for instance, a lot of times words are too much. Music's nice, but no words. It seems to me, the way I kind of described it was, it seems to me that they're really kind of gathering all of themselves back into one place for the trip. And I don't know, that's just how it seems to me. I don't know, but I've seen some of my elders that I've been able to be a part of. It's a very honored and privileged place to be. It really is.
And as you said, it's definitely a calling. It's not work that everybody can do, nor should they.
Right.
Because we all have our roles, you know. But when one feels called to do what you do, I think it's a beautiful thing to step up, because a lot of people would be afraid as you said, they have their own issues about death because of that great mystery.
Right.
So what would be some words that you could say to somebody who maybe is watching this right now and is going, I can't believe how they do that. How can they do that? You know, what would be something that you could give them as far as some enlightenment?
Well, I think a lot of it is maybe what kind of death that they have as a reference point. You know, if it's been kind of something that looked like a horrifying experience, then I can see why that would be difficult, you know, because that's your reference point.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was beautiful, so that's mine. And I just want to make that, I know that when I was at the hospital, I felt like that the chaplains, I'm sure they, you know, probably said what they thought were the right words, but I didn't feel anything from them. There was no feeling of what I wanted to feel. I wanted to be able to feel something that I didn't, they weren't able to give it because I don't think they had their own stuff with it. You know, they didn't have their own issues handled. And so that was one of the things I got real clear about after my husband died, was that I wanted to somehow be the presence that I wished could have been there for me, but it wasn't possible. And so that's one thing I felt almost immediately that I felt called to about that. And I didn't know it was going to play out with, you know, the Twilight Brigade, didn't know how it was. I just started researching to see, well, what would it take to go back to seminary to be a chaplain or whatever, because I just felt like I wanted to bring that, you know, to a family, because what I experienced was just, you know, this was the feeling, was a black suit in a white shirt and played the row and said the words, and there was nothing there for the person.
So the heart was not there for you.
I'm sure they wanted it to be,
Sure.
you know, but it just wasn't engaged. It was just a head thing, is how it felt, just saying how it felt to me. And so that's what I wanted to felt just like I wanted to make a difference about. And I was just so glad that I had what I had within me, that I wasn't relying on them. Because if I had, it would have been really sad. But I had enough within myself and enough with my husband and I. And his district superintendent prayed with him, a really wonderful African-American minister. And he started praying as really, you know, they have a gift for. And so I remember I had said to my husband that I just prayed that the angels would come and take him from here to there. I remember saying those exact words. And when the minister came in, he said he wanted to have a prayer with us, and I asked him, I said, well, would you just ask that, you know, God would send his angels and just be with Andrew from here to there? And he said the words, and the minute he finished them, there was not another breath.
Wow.
And I mean, I didn't know that was possible. And so that's what I have, you know, and so that's what I have as my understanding of how it can be. And I know that not everyone's is going to be that way.
Right.
But I try to bring as much holistic understanding to life so that that is also there in the death process. And I feel like that when we tamper with it too much, we don't get what would have been the death. We get a man-made version. And I think there's something much grander that's at play there, so much more that's supposed to happen that is short-circuited and it isn't allowed to.
Well,
that's
yeah,
supposed to have this meaning and all.